Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name is Ray, the Market Trader. And before we can get started here, let's take a look at our risk disclosure. Okay, just want to remind everyone that the content that is about to be published herein is as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. Use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company, its partners, representatives, agents, employees, and contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. We all understand that future trading does carry a fair amount of risk, and it's not for every investor. Investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital, money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle, should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, so now that we've gotten through the risk disclosure, we're going to go ahead and turn our attention to the financial news. Okay, see what financial news we have ahead of us that could potentially impact the markets. Well, really, the only thing that we have going, actually, that was yesterday. This looks like we have continued U.S.-China trade talks. Looks like started last night, and we have OPEC meeting this morning, and I would expect through the next few days. We have our 2-year note yields, 5-year note yields being reported respectively at 11:30 and 1 p.m. Eastern time. And again, U.S. China delegates are getting together again, talking trade. Okay, so I would say outside of this event here, the U.S. China trade talks obviously has the potential of impacting the markets. We have a fair amount of earnings this week. This is earnings week, so this is kind of the second round of earnings, or third round actually. We have PayPal, UPS, Procter & Gamble, United Health reporting tomorrow, Merck reporting tomorrow, Starbucks, Visa, all reporting tomorrow. Wednesday is going to be a big day. We have FOMC interest rate decision. That's going to be watched. We have EIA crude oil inventory reports. We have GDP, ADP coming in on Wednesday as well. Then we have another set of earnings: Qualcomm, Ford, Meta, eBay, Microsoft coming in on Wednesday. Then we have our normal jobless claims, core PCE, core price index. Again, and another set of earnings: Amazon, Apple. So fair amount of news this week. Today being probably the lightest of the set of news that we're going to receive. So now that we have an understanding of the news that is coming our way, we can now turn our attention to the markets. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move, change our focus here to the markets. All right, so here we are. We're going to start with the gold market. And we're just going to remove some of our drawings and just get a sense of what the market is trying to accomplish here. Okay. So looking at this chart, you can see again that the market continues to be in some sort of consolidation pattern. Here we had we closed the week with 3 straight bearish days, right? 1, 2, 3 days of worth of bearish price action. And if you did get a chance to see my weekly review, this candle right here is of importance here, right? Because it's the first candle that closed below structure. Okay, so now the fact that we are technically below this structure opens the possibility of maybe further downside move in this market. We still have some areas here that could be supportive. We have the 3,300 level, I would say, would be an area to maybe as low as 3,284. And then ultimately, the level that I guess everybody cares about on whether it's going to be able to hold is this 3,168 level or 3,200, in that range somewhere. So just a couple of areas that I'm going to go ahead and mark as areas of demand here. Okay, it's going to be, I would say, relatively important for in order to maintain any sort of semblance of bullish structure here. We need to look to potentially hold either of these levels here. Okay, so we have the 3,300 level here above in green, and then we have the 3,200 level down below. Okay, these levels I would say are relatively important to maintain any semblance of bearish structure. Now, with that said, we still are, we still are inside some sort of bullish structure. If you look at this, we still see an ascending wedge pattern here. Okay, so not all is not lost for the bulls yet, but we need to begin to see some evidence that bulls are still interested in participating as price moves lower. As any good auction, the reason we're moving lower is our sellers are far more aggressive than our buyers, and we're moving lower to really attract more buyers into this market. All right, so headed into the session with the understanding that I am coming off, or I am near some I am near some areas of support. Hey, Market Hunter. So we are up against, like I said, we are up against some levels here that could potentially be supportive here. Let's go ahead and move on to the crude oil market. We'll take a look at the crude oil market, and again, we continue to hover around this 65 level, which is indeed an area of some support here. So we have a developing bullish candle, but in otherwise market that continues to be. Oops, did I go too fast? Yeah, I did. Let's go back and take a look at crude oil a little bit more. I mean, gold a little bit more. We just looked at the daily. We're going to go ahead and move on to the 4-hour chart. Sorry about that, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour. Kind of zoom in on the 4-hour candle. So you can see 4-hour charts. We are continue to see some evidence of bearish price action. We have these daily demand zones that we've already kind of alluded to. We had a little bit of a reaction. We did find a few buyers here in this area, but we continue to resume in our move to the downside. Looking at the 30-minute chart, we're going to do a little bit of kind of volume analysis here. We're going to take a look at where price is in relation to Friday's price action, just to give us further evidence on the market sentiment here. So we're going to go ahead and locate the start of Friday. Okay, so we're right about here. To drag that to the close of Friday, which is right about there. And you can see that price opened. Let's see this. Yeah, it opened below value. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just kind of extend this line here. This line, the fact that we opened below it is indicating that sellers are willing to pay a premium to be a part of this market to the downside. I would say that the fact that we opened below value is an indication that the market sentiment remains bearish. And so I'm going to go ahead and add our VWAP to this discussion. Let's see, sir, where's VWAP? Okay, there's a version of VWAP. Okay, let's do this one here. So we're price, you can see, is below VWAP. I'm going to add our anchored VWAP for the start of London. That's also below. So again, we're seeing evidence of that the sentiment remains to the bearish side. So we are obviously a bit extended here, a bit extended to the downside. I would say that as we probably, I'm going to go ahead and open up initial balance. The market is indeed open, so we'll open that up. So open initial balance. This is Not correct. That is the London range. So let's change that to US. So, but you can see before I go ahead and change it, you can see that that we are breaking the initial balance range that was established on the London side to the downside. Again, giving us evidence of further that there is further interest to the downside. We could be very well in a potential sustained auction move to the downside. We open up New York. New York is developing a little bit of a range here. We are extended. We are extended to the downside. So it would not be out of the realm of possibility here if we rally back up to VWAP and extend lower from VWAP. So this area here around 33, 34, 33, 35 would be an area of focus for me for maybe a participation move or to participate in this market to the downside. Okay. All right. So now that we've completed our review of gold, now we've gone through the daily and the 4-hour or 30-minute. We can now turn our attention to the crude oil. I had kind of jumped to it a bit early last time. So looking at the daily, we're seeing some activity here that indicates that maybe this 65 level is going to be maybe a supportive level in this crude oil market. As I mentioned, there was, I believe, when we were doing our review of the news, that there were some meetings taking place here in the OPEC, right? So it stands to reason that they're probably looking for ways to improve the outlook, or to improve some of the pricing that we've seen of late in this market. So we are developing a bullish candle. Otherwise, in a move that's been a bit on the consolidation side. Market, as I mentioned on the daily, remains bearish. Okay, we haven't really broken any structure, really serious structure here to the upside. We have a developing bullish engulfing candle. But we've had these types of candles before, only to be disappointed. So something to be aware of, but also understand that there's probably we need additional evidence in the markets to really embrace this current move. All right, let's move down to the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, we're starting to see a series of bullish candles here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 in the series of bullish candles. We have this 66.50 level. That is, I would say, the next level of, I guess, a decision that needs to be made by anyone who might be holding any short positions in this market. They'll probably need to make a decision to either hold and hope, I guess, that the market reverses, or close out positions, which could accelerate this move that we're seeing here to the upside. We're going to go ahead and remove some of our drawings here. We're going to move down to our 30-minute chart here. Now we are technically inside open. The initial balance did open. All right, so we are not in the second candle here. It should be the first. So we'll adjust this here. New York custom session. This should be 9:30 instead of. All right. Okay. But actually, sorry. It should be. Not sure why we're picking up the 530 range, but nonetheless, we have our initial balance range. We're going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile and get a sense for where price is in relation to Friday's price action here. And we're going to adjust this here a little bit by a candle over. Okay. So you can see that price is well above value. So market sentiment, at least on the short term, is showing signs of strength to the upside. So, hey, David. So headed into the session, session today, I would say that it appears we're starting to see some signs of some bullish price action, some maybe change in market sentiment in this market. We are seeing evidence across all our indicators. We have our VWAP. Our initial balance is still early. Our volume profile, all giving us indications that we might be in for maybe a change in market sentiment in this market. We're starting to break some structure here to the left-hand side. We had the 6650 level, I think, that we identified in the daily, right? We're working our way above that level. So yeah, all signs currently are pointing to the possibility of additional bullish price action in the crude oil. Me personally, I'm going to wait for things to shake out here around this area, wait for the initial balance range to establish, and then look to see if I can find maybe an opportunity around the 6650 level would be a logical place, or 6660. Certainly any area on around or above the initial balance range could offer us a location to participate in a move to the upside. So headed into the session, I would say that I guess my view on the market is changing to be a bit more bullish than bearish in the past. Certainly on the short term, we are starting to see that we are beginning to break some structure here to the upside, which could continue here into today's session. So let's go ahead and move on to the Nasdaq. Taking a look at the Nasdaq, we're going to go ahead and start off with a daily chart. Now we had a little bit of a gap to the upside, and we have a developing bearish candle in a market that otherwise has been bullish, right? So we have some participation on both sides of the market. We have sellers and buyers, as you can see here with the red and green candles. But the market very much is sloping to the upside. Now we do have a developing candle here at the upper end of the value range that is bearish. Now the question, we won't know until the end of the session or the end of the day here whether this current candle closes bearish or whether this changes course here. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, again, we see that this is our second in a series of bearish candles here. So we have a developing bearish candle on the daily. We already have a bearish candle or engulfing candle on the 4-hour, and a continuation candle to the downside. I would say that as price fills in this gap that was created on Friday. Right, so this gap so we had the open. Now it looks like we're looking to fill in this gap. So this area here around 23,450, I would say would be a reasonable level to look maybe for a possibility to maybe look for price to bounce and reverse and continue to the upside. Okay, now if price begins to close inside value, we obviously have the point of control here around 23,386. That could offer us maybe a location or a target for maybe a bearish move, or again an area where we could potentially participate in a market that could offer us a bounce or reversal in that area. So we have a couple areas here on the 4-hour chart that could provide us logical reference levels where we can manage our risk. Looking at the 30-minute chart, again, we have a developing, not exactly sure why we're getting this. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the initial balance tool here for the moment because I'm getting incorrect readings. So, market is not open yet, so we'll turn that off for now. Okay, so here we are. We're going to go ahead and open up our anchor VWAP here for London right about here. So you can see that the market is below VWAP, below the VWAP generated for London. We're going to go ahead and open up the fixed range volume profile here for Friday. Okay, so here we are. Drag that across to the close of Friday, right about there. So you can see that price is below, is technically above value, but I would say beginning to maybe develop some structure here to the downside. This level here around 22,460, this high end of value from Friday, I would say is going to be an important area. This area is going to be important in order for it to, I guess, to maintain sort of this continued bullish direction that we've been in. If I draw a channel here, just trying to kind of eyeball this a little bit, see how I would draw this. You can see that possibly we've broken some structure here to the downside. If I draw this channel, I'm trying to incorporate as many of these candles as I can. I don't know, maybe if something like this would make a little bit more sense, or something like this. In any case, we're starting to see some structure that indicates that maybe the market is looking to correct here a bit. So we are starting the week with a little bit of bearish structure here in the equity markets. We're still about 18 minutes away from the open of the markets, but we're starting to see signs in the daily 4-hour that maybe we are headed into the week a bit on the bearish side. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the ES and see what the S&P is telling us. Again, we're going to go ahead and start with the daily chart. Daily chart again is developing I would say even a stronger a bearish candle here up at the highs. So you can see here on the right, we have our visible range volume profile. We're up at the upper end of the value range, actually, even depending on the number of candles you show to here. So let's see, do this. Okay, so here we are. You can see that we're at the upper end of value, developing a bearish candle in an otherwise market that continues to show bullish structure. Moving into the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, we had a couple of candles that have been bearish. We had, similar to what we saw in the NASDAQ, we have an engulfing candle here that closed, bearish engulfing candle, and we have a continuous candle to the downside approaching this area here that we've identified earlier, right, as an area here around 64.2050. Does appear to be a prior area of resistance that could turn supportive. So the 64.20 level is the level that I'm going to be watching for in this market. 64.20 for maybe the possibility of a bounce. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the 30-minute chart. We see that we are developing a bearish engulfing candle here on the 30-minute side. We are rapidly approaching this area here. It looks like we are looking to fill in this gap that was created for the start of the session here. So around this 64.30 level, that's the point of control of this volume profile that we have here on the right. Again, another area that could potentially be supportive. If we manage to get below that, then it opens up the door for price maybe to revisit some of the lows here down as low as 6,400. We're going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile. We're going to go ahead and locate the start of Friday's session here. So there's the start of Friday. We're going to drag that across to the close of Friday. So you can see, similar to what we're seeing here on the visible range volume profile, that we're above value, but price is looking to retest these areas. So I'm going to go ahead and extend this value area high line from Friday. And this area here, we've already kind of mentioned, this 64.31, 64.32 level is the value area high from Friday. So again, we've reached an area where there's the expectation that we could see some support. If we manage to close back inside value and maybe potentially get us below point of control here at 64.28, then I don't see any reason why we don't, rotate all the way down to as low of 64, let's say 64.15, 64 12 in this market. So interesting price action that we're seeing of late here. I would say that headed into the session, that the market is looking a bit on the bearish side, and that we need to see if we can get some further evidence of that, and then look for reference levels where we can manage our risk to the bearish side. Okay, let's look at, before we summarize across all the markets, we'll take a look at the Dow, and then we'll do kind of one last review of all the markets. We'll take a look at the daily here. Okay, as you can see that we have a bearish candle developing here in an otherwise market that is in kind of, I would say, continues to be bullish. We have a bearish candle that's developing in an otherwise market that continues to show a bullish structure. Moving down to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, similar to the other equity markets, we see that we have, this is the second, we have a bearish engulfing candle here in the Dow. We have a continuation candle here to the downside that has filled this gap. It stands to reason, if we don't react from this level, that we're going to come back down to revisit this 44,900 level, maybe 44,960 level, before we find maybe the potential of some buyers here, just based on what I'm seeing on the charts. 44,900 does appear to be an area that could potentially be supportive here, looking at the 4-hour chart. All right, so that's an area I'm going to be keeping an eye on. If we manage to break below that level, then I think that opens the door for lower prices. But for now, I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be watching the 45,000, 44,975 to see how well price reacts away from those levels. You're welcome, George. Okay, moving on to the 30-minute charts. 30-minute chart on this, we see that price is below below VWAP. We're going to go ahead and open up our VWAP for London here. So there we are. This is London. You can see that price is below London as well. We're going to go ahead and open up the fixed range volume profile here and take a look and see where price is in relation to Friday's price action here. So we drag that across to the close, and you can see that price does remain above value, but is currently testing it. Is currently testing that level. That level. If we manage to close back inside this level, I think it stands to reason that we are going to move rather quickly down to this 44,914 level, which is the point of control of Friday's range, and maybe as low as we have already kind of alluded to, this 44,816 level based on the 30-minute chart. Okay. So that's kind of what I have for you for the markets. It looks like across the equity markets, we are looking a bit on the bearish side. We're still about 10 minutes away from the open of these markets. So we'll just kind of take a peek here across all the markets just to summarize kind of our positions here. So let's remove some of our drawings here. Let's remove the bands from the VWAP here, and we're going to go ahead and manually draw our this is our initial balance range. This is our initial balance range for this market. So I would say for the gold market, I would say that we continue to show bearish signals. Hey, Marcelo. I think we continue to see some bearish signals in this market. We are inside this balance range up against some levels. I think we've kind of alluded to already. We are coming into some areas that could be supportive, but we remain in bearish structure. Moving down to the crude oil market. Looking at the crude oil market, we are starting to see some signs possibly of some bullish price action here. If you look at this on the 4-hour side, you can see that we are starting to see breaks of structure here to the upside that could offer us maybe some opportunities, bullish opportunities in this market. So I would say crude oil is looking rather bullish, assuming we can close above this candle here in the next 38 minutes. This could be further evidence that maybe we'll continue to the upside in this market. All right. And then we'll just take one last look at the equity markets here. Again, we're starting to see in otherwise, I would say, bullish kind of structure. We're starting to see a little bit of weakness here. We've gotten below my channel that I've drawn here, my bullish channel that I've drawn. This is the first time I've seen candles kind of close below. Some indication here that we could be seeing some breaks of market structure here to the downside. It'll be interesting to me to see how well if we manage to hold above the highs here, above value area high here around I don't know 23,460 level. That seems to be kind of an interesting level for me. But we're starting to see some signs of maybe some bearish price action. It'll be interesting again for me to see how price reacts off of value area high from Friday. Looking at the ES, okay, similar story. We're up against value, value from Friday. If we do manage to close back inside it, I don't see if we do manage to get maybe below this structure here around 64.25, I think that opens the door for maybe a full rotation down to maybe 64.10 all the way down to 6400 in this market. So ES is looking a bit on the bearish side. And then to close out this session, we'll take a look at the Dow. The Dow and the ES look like carbon copies of each other, testing the same levels, only at different prices. I would say that there's probably a little bit more room to the downside, a little less resistant to get to the downside in the Dow than say maybe the ES. I think we saw that there was a point of control at higher levels here in the ES. This target right here would be a reasonable target, I would say, for price to reach if we do manage to close back inside this value range with the open of the market. So just to kind of summarize again, I would say that the gold continues to look bearish, coming up against some areas of support. Crude oil is showing some signs of bullish, and honestly, as much as it is we're seeing right now is it appears that we're seeing some signs in the equity markets of some weakness. I don't know if that is in anticipation of some weak earnings, maybe, or whether they're positioning themselves to add to their portfolios. But nonetheless, we are seeing some indications of some weakness across the board, across all the equity markets. We're up against levels that I would think would cause maybe some buyers to step in. So that's what I have for you guys. This is pretty much what my market review for today. So we'll go ahead and close this session as we close most sessions. Trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Don't forget to hit the likes, comments, subscribe, hit the notification bell on the way out. Continue to support my efforts here to bring this information to you. And thanks again for all those who have supported me up to this point. Thank you, Dirk. Thank you, Marcelo. Thank you, George. Thank you, Market Hunter. And until next time, trade well.